Has this ever happened to you? The end of the year comes and you've achieved a lot of stuff, but the things that really mattered to you, you kind of dropped the ball or you didn't quite hit the mark. Now, logically, we think it's because we didn't plan properly, but that's not always true. See, sometimes we can execute a plan perfectly, but still not be happy with the results. So before the end of last year, I did what I always do. I did some planning to set my next year's targets and for my business and for my personal life. You probably did the same thing. But then a few days ago, once the new year started, something didn't feel right. I had this feeling like I didn't believe the plan. I didn't believe my own plan. And I realized that I wasn't passionate about going where my plan was leading. I'd made the mistake that so many people do, and that is I'd done my plan during the busy times. I'd done my plan before Christmas when everything was chaotic. But then after the Christmas and New Year's break, I'd had time to process and to sort of think a little bit and dream a little bit and realize that it doesn't match up with where I want to go, with what I feel like I want to do. So to help put these thoughts into some kind of cohesive, usable plan, I use my Big Rocks method. And I've used it many times in my life. It's really simple. Here's how it works. So what we have here is a short series of questions designed to lead you to what matters most to you. It can be done with a notepad and pen like this. Ideally, you can do it in a cafe, at a lookout, you can get in your car and drive to the beach, or a favorite thinking spot. It can be done in one session or over a few days. And depending on how in touch you are with what really matters to you, the total time is like 30 to 90 minutes tops. And here's how you're going to do it. So open up a new page and you date and title up the top, Big Rocks, Reflections and Directions. And then you're going to ask and answer the following questions and just use a new page for each question. So the first question, reflections from the last year. And just take 15, 10, 5 minutes and just write down anything that comes to mind. The important thing is just to get the ideas out of your head as fast as possible, whatever comes to mind. You don't want to be trying to structure your thoughts at this point. You're just digging in and you're trying to figure out what's going on. So what reflections do you have? Maybe your immediate first thought is, my kid doesn't like me and I know I didn't spend enough time with him. Or maybe your first thoughts are, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do over the break because I was too busy with work. I didn't plan properly. Whatever the thoughts are, whatever comes to your mind first, write that stuff down. And then at some point, you'll have enough writing of your reflections and you want the next question, and that is achievements. We're going to switch gears to achievements. What things did you achieve in the last year? Business-wise, personal, health, relationships. Just write your achievements down. This should make you feel good. This should make you realize, you know what? I did a pretty good job last year. Again, 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it takes. The next heading is frustrations. Frustrations from the last year. You could say mistakes. You could say failures. Frustrations is more useful. What about the last year frustrated you? Because ultimately this is about getting to what you want. Getting to what you want is away from the things that frustrate you. Maybe you were frustrated because you didn't get the amount of time off that you wanted. You weren't happy with the mindset that you had at the end of the year. Or maybe you didn't have enough money over the course of the year. Or maybe your friendship suffered. Or maybe your personal relationship suffered. Or maybe you weren't happy with your level of fitness. What frustrations did you have? You probably have a series of frustrations that are all sort of like patterned together in groups. For example, maybe your fitness or your health one has a number of frustrations throughout the year that you feel you let yourself down. Write those frustrations down. It's important to write them all down because you're going to want to group them. You're going to want to see where the frustrations lie. To spin the mood around and to change things, we're going to write down the next heading, which is grateful. What are you grateful for? What happened in the last year that you are grateful for? Things are good. You had a good time, but now you're grateful for some stuff. So spend 5, 10, 15 minutes and write down what you're grateful for. So what we've done is we've used a series of questions to give you some accurate reflections. This is data we can use now. So with this data, we can now make some observations. You're looking through what you've written down and you think, okay, it's starting to become clear to me what my biggest frustrations were. It's starting to become clear to me what I was really happy about. So what observations have you got? What things do you definitely want to do again? And what things do you definitely not want to do again? The next heading is lessons. What lessons could you write down? This way we don't have to keep going around the mountain, so to speak. We learn the lesson and we level up. And finally, it takes us to our targets or our goals. to ensure that the big rocks get done. The most important stuff gets done. So what do those targets look like? Now, you might not have the targets. You might have done all the rest of the work and think to yourself, well, I don't actually know what my targets are. I just know that this category and that category, those things gave me frustration last year. I need to improve them somehow. And this stuff was really good last year. I want to do the same thing again. So take a day, take 2 days, take as long as you need. The point is that now in the back of your mind, you're going to be thinking, I know exactly the areas I need to work on. And you can use that information to come up with some targets, some goals. And the moment those things come to you, you write them down. And now you have your goals, your targets, and you know that they connected to what's important to you, what you definitely don't want to do again, and what you definitely do want to do again. So how do you make sure that those things happen? Now, I told you I was going to share with you the simplest way to ensure that what you really want becomes a reality. And I've already made a video on it, and you're going to love it. And it's about achieving difficult things. I'll see you in the next video.